For more on this, let's turn right now to Washington. Our Paul Hunter is standing by with a look at the life of Scalia, as well as a look forward to the fight over his successor. So, Paul, hello to you. What impact did Justice Scalia's strong beliefs have on the court and the country in general?
Antonin Scalia was what they call an originalist. That means when it comes to interpreting the U.S. Constitution, a key facet of what U.S. Supreme Court justices do, Scalia looked at the words of the Constitution written in the 18th century and interpreted laws today based on what the writers of the Constitution meant in the 1700s. And he was strict about that. He was firm in his conservative convictions and thus was as well a divisive and provocative Supreme Court justice. He was, and his opinions from the bench reflected this, he was a strong proponent of gun rights, i.e. the Second Amendment to the Constitution. He voted to let U.S. states outlaw abortions. He's pro-capital punishment and helped the court agree to allow states to execute 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds. He voted against Obamacare and voted in favor of unlimited spending on advertising during election campaigns. And Scalia was part of the decision that effectively named George W. Bush winner of the contested U.S. election in 2000 against Al Gore. This is a guy who for 30 years stood by his conservative convictions and yet was also thoroughly enjoyed by some of his colleagues on the other side of the ideological divide of the court. Famously, he was terrific friends with liberal Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So, you know, go figure that one.
Absolutely. Well, you know, what's interesting is that his death was confirmed last night around 7 p.m. Eastern time. And not long afterwards, the debate over his successor started to emerge. What's at stake here over who gets to choose the successor?
Yeah, well, it's hard to understate the influence of the Supreme Court on U.S. laws and how the ideological makeup of the court thus dictates the ultimate legal direction of this country. They don't always vote along ideological lines at the Supreme Court, but they do often enough. I mean, until yesterday, it was 5-4 in favor of conservative justices. Now it's tied 4-4. And in that these appointments are for life, whoever the next justice is will help shape the court's decision for a long time. Hence the immediate pushback from Republicans who control the U.S. Senate, which is tasked with, quote, advising and consenting to whoever the president nominates. Though it's the president's constitutional duty to nominate a justice, Republicans now say because it's an election year, it should be put off until after the November vote, in the hope, of course, that a Republican president wins or Republican nominee wins the presidency and can nominate a conservative justice. Here's a sampling, though, of what Republican candidates were saying on the talk shows about all of this morning.
His passing yesterday really underscores the stakes of this election. We are facing our fundamental rights in a balance.
Look, we need great intellect. We need, I say, absolutely conservative. But I think the real plan for it would be somebody just like Justice Scalia.
Here's the bottom line. Right. I don't trust Barack Obama on the appointment of Supreme Court justices. We cannot afford to have Scalia replaced by someone like the nominees he's put there in the past. We're going to have an election. There's going to be a new president. I believe it's going to be me. And we're going to look for someone that most resembles Scalia.
Democrats, it should be no surprise, take the opposite view. Hillary Clinton tweeting this morning that Obama is still the president for another 11 months after all, and many have noted that a Supreme Court justice was approved in an election year as recently as 1988 under Ronald Reagan. But the bottom line, this will be a complicated and drawn-out process, and it's only day one.
Paul, thank you very much. The CBC's Paul Hunter in Washington.